and that you're thinking maybe of going to some other country, and that you may have to send your wife and kids back to Syria until you can bring them to Iraq or wherever you go. Is this is what you guys are talking about, right?
Yes, if I can't have more money to take them with me to Erbil or to Turkey, this is the final option I have.
So hey everyone, welcome back to Staying Strong for Marriage. So glad to have you. You know, normally on this channel, what we try to do is look at ways that help people recover from divorce, but also try to restore their families, get mother, father back together so that the kids can come back, and all the benefits that we always know from the research we've looked at about how good that is for children, how important that is for children. One thing that I've talked about in the past, and I'm going to do a great interview with a good friend of mine today from Beirut, Lebanon, is basically looking at this idea is, what if you have a long stand? So, and one of the things that I really want to do is try to provide some interviews for you guys, for the people that are new, just how to get through the trauma and all the emotions, but then later on, you got to think, well, what am I going to do? Am I just going to stay at home? Am I just going to watch Netflix and just go to work? Especially for those of you that don't have children, I'm trying to make a case of, hey, you can go out. You've learned how to suffer. You've learned about God and how he's helped you during your time of need. And you can take that compassion, you can share with other people. I'm trying to. Okay. Okay. So you guys, so Muhammad said I could use his real name since there's lots of Muhammads everywhere. So we're going to watch this. We'll stop it. So
in Beirut, I'm joined by Sara Ayafi, who is a public policy consultant and political activist. Sara, since you're in Beirut, let's go straight to you. I'd like to know, in your opinion, is the national mood one of fear right now?
Actually, I want to ask you, Muhammad, what do you think, man? People are afraid more, they are angry more, they are discouraged. How are you and your friends feeling this day?
Yeah, I know all Lebanese are angry, and for sure people have fears from the situation to maybe it's going to civil war or the chaos, the stealings like all over Lebanon. You every day you hear like 2 or 3 accident stealing here or here, houses, motorcycles, cars, maybe. So it's people start to move in this area, in the chaos area, and war, maybe civil war or like this. So this is people. All people have fears.
I don't think fear is even remotely what it is. I think it is rage. I think it is despair wreaking havoc on the Lebanese people with immeasurable consequences, and no corrective steps have been taken by the political class. When I use the word immeasurable, I don't use it lightly, Tom. Immeasurable as in even experts are having a hard time measuring and estimating how deceitfully severe and deviously bad this crisis is, which is getting worse by the second and still zero.
I wanted to stop and ask you, she says it's getting worse. Is there any sense that you have that maybe things will turn around in the next couple months, or do you feel like it's just only going to get worse?
No, maybe no. I'm sure it's going to be worse, man. It's going to be worse for sure, because no one from the politics class, no one move or do any move for solve the problems. And I'm not sure, because every time the lockdown over, they begin or start a new one. So no one knows.
Okay. All right, I'm going to play this, and then
reforms have been undertaken. The Lebanese pound, exactly as your colleague has mentioned, has lost 85% of its value, and the central bank's reserves are drying up and very soon will no longer be sufficient to meet our import needs. Yes, import needs, because kind reminder that Lebanon is chiefly an importer. In fact,
I'd heard that a lot of the dollars had been spent, and so these were the dollars that they used to use to import goods. And they're out of those dollars, basically, right? The government ran out of dollars.
Yes, they said this. I think they don't have more this reserve start to dry from the banks, and this is difficult for the country and people, because some Lebanese can't pull their money from banks, because they said we don't have dollars, we don't have money. People escaping from Lebanon, everyone if they have jobs, they or businesses, they close it, they take their money and go to maybe Iraq, Turkey, Greece, Cyprus maybe, and start a job there because everyone is scared and running from Lebanon because, as I said, stealings, chaos, maybe civil war.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is scaring for all people. Yeah.
Well, and tell me again, you were telling me before about the schools. What's it like for your kids trying to go to school? How's that working?
Yes, people here in Lebanon, you have to be rich to put your children's or kids in a good school, and this is so expensive. It starts from maybe $15,000 in a year, and maybe more. Maybe
$15,000 a year.
$15,000 per year for the one kid, and
Right.
you have to be rich even if you are like Lebanese. For Syrians, we can't put our children in schools here because it's so expensive, and the public schools it's not good. They doesn't have good education, and they like treat Syrian kids in racist way. Here in Lebanon, we suffer from racism from people because everyone like treats Syrians as they take their jobs and their money and their I don't know everything. But this is not true. And even the UN doesn't give the Syrian their rights because we registered it as in UN, and they said you are not a refugee in Lebanon because we stopped registration from 2015, and we didn't like take anything from them, even not money or some of them give you like food or anything. We didn't receive anything from them. So this is difficult for us. Even if you like try to register your kids in schools through the UN, it's the same problem because they were registered in a public school, and this is not good for us, not good for our children, not good education, and racism and everything.
So really they figured out. So for those of you, if you decide to sign up for Patreon, just drop a note that you want the money to go to Muhammad, and I don't know how else to do it. You're just going to have to trust me. But on there is a paper that explains basically the political thinking of why Syrian refugees have basically been blocked by the Lebanese government. Essentially what happened is if you gave people these rights as refugees or other political rights, it would change the political blocks, the voting blocks, and all this stuff. And so it's a bit complicated, but there's a paper there if you want to understand more. I was going to ask you, Mohammed, how much are you making per month? You're working restaurant manager, right?
Yes.
So how much were you making before, and then say like last year, and then how much are you making now?
Last year, maybe because the crisis was started already, it was maybe $300, and now it's 80.
You're making $80 a month?
Yes. No.
Okay, I'm going to ask you here in a second because she's going to talk about the increase in goods and stuff. But let's go back. Is that cool? We'll go back to watching this?
Yes.
Okay.
The country with the highest trade deficit in the world is Lebanon, in the world, because of the dreadful political class and the deals that they have struck with the banks, who gave zero incentives to any local business activity to prosper across the years. The unemployment rate has quadrupled. In 2019, the unemployment rate was 11%. It is currently over 40%.
So she's saying about 4 out of every 10 people are not working. Would you agree? Would you put it higher or lower?
I think it's higher, but this is true.
Okay.
The inflation rate is more than 100%. Can you believe the numbers I'm giving? This is not a Hollywood movie. What does that mean? The fall of the currency created a phenomenon of hyperinflation and a severe decline in Lebanese purchasing power.
So there was a news article I saw this week. I'll post it in the descriptions below on the video. It talked about, so when I was in Lebanon, 2018, 2019, you could trade $1 for 1,500 liras, and recently it hit 10,000. Is that right?
No, it's 12,500.
12,000 on the street. 12,500.
Yes. So
she's talking about people are losing a lot of their money. 80% in the banks, even Lebanese people, right? I mean, Syrians are already at a disadvantage, but even the normal Lebanese person, if their money is locked in the banks, they're losing. If they saved a bunch of money from before, they just lost it. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. I just want to make sure. So
the minimum income, which was already as low as $400 just a year and a half ago, has now fallen under $40. And at the same time, prices have tripled and quadrupled. Hyperinflation is a rare phenomenon in the world, Tom, but it is the daily bread of the Lebanese people. This comes at the backdrop of a country that has seen no economic growth for years due to the incomprehensible incompetence of a dreadful ruling class, a damning ruling class that has invested none of our resources on any form of productive investment or societal nation building, but instead was spending, embezzling, stealing the funds of the Lebanese people to uphold their mafia feudal kingdom.
I want to ask you a quick question because I was only there for like about a year and a half, 2 years. You've been in Lebanon for 6 years. You lived in the region your whole life. Lebanon is confusing to me as an outsider. Like when I was there, I went there for the education program for the master's degree. And I learned that there hadn't been a government. So we had elections while I was there in 2018. And it was the first time there had been 7 years, I think, before that without a government. That was correct, right? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I think so.
And then they had the elections in 2018. And then I left, and in October of 2019, the government stepped down.
Yes.
There was, and then it was, okay, there was no government. They were talking about how we're going to get a new government, the technocratic government or whatever they were going to do. Then that was October of 2019. A few months after that, coronavirus starts, right?
Yes.
And then by summer of 2020, so August 2020, you had the big blast in the port with the nitrogen, ammonia nitrate, right? So this. My question was though, so I don't have a 6-year time frame. She's saying that, I mean, has Lebanon been like on a 6-year decline since you've lived there? Or was it like all of a sudden in the last 12 months, everything just went from good to bad?
From it's maybe from the end of the 2019, from maybe the December in 2019, it starts. So it starts like to all the situation like start to fall down, everything, economy, crisis, people like angry in streets.
Our deposits are trapped in banks who are the co-signatories of this crisis. The Lebanese people are obliged to withdraw their money at an extremely depreciated rate, effectively reducing the market value of our assets by 65 and soon 70 or 75%. Who knows if it'll be 100% in a few months. This means that every day, Tom, the Lebanese citizen or resident endures an effective haircut on his or her hard-earned money, even if no official policy was ever called by the state.
The article that I talked about, the lira to dollar exchange rate, 10,000 to 1, made headlines. That was maybe a 3 weeks old story. You're saying now you're at 12,500.
Yes.
What do you think it's going to be at in a month? We're here in the middle of March. What do you think it's going to be?
I don't know. Maybe in 10 days, it will be 15,000.
10 days, huh?
Yes, maybe, because in 3 or 4 days, it's like go from 10,000 to 12,500. So it's easy to maybe in 10 days to rise for 15,000. This is not good for us because I didn't get this much money to when you go every day you go like to a supermarket or co-op or anything, you will find a new price. Yani some days I saw the employees change the prices in front of the customers. So this is unbelievable, man. And you can't find everything. Yani like baby milk, they take it from the markets and hide it to raise the price. And when the price like you can't find it anywhere, you will find it when you pay maybe more money to get it. It's unbelievable, like kids' milk and maybe some medicines. You can find all of it. Panadol, man. This is unbelievable. You can't find Panadol in pharmacies.
This is a baby medicine? What is this?
No, everything. You can find Panadol for grown-ups and kids, infants.
Okay.
if Lebanese or Syrian want to go from Lebanon to Jordan, they have to go through Syria. They don't have direct border with Jordan.
There's ongoing fighting in Syria. The national government is trying to recruit men to be soldiers to continue the fighting. So either you have to, if you would go back to Syria, what would happen? You may be arrested or forced into the army?
Yeah. Yes, I will be arrested at the border and forced to serve in the army. And if I don't want to, you have to pay $8,000 to me.
Right. $8,000. So there's no way, so you can't drive out. So you got to fly out, basically. Let's keep going and see what she has to say. I want to keep moving on this. Is that okay?
Yes.
I'm going to keep thinking about that, though.
What has the political class done to remedy to all those horrors that I just enunciated? Nothing. They have done nothing except hold on to their seats and arm wrestle, as your colleague was just explaining. They have a practicing policy of a passive laissez-faire and kicking the can at the expense of the population, of which 50% are below the poverty line. 50%. They are mafia lords, militia lords, thinking that they have the space to be bickering and infighting using the same old corrupt style that has led the country to its demise, a club of...
I'm going to pause it real quick. In the full interview, this woman, Sarah El-Yafi, am I saying that pretty closely?
Yes.
She basically gets into a pretty long argument with another analyst, political analyst. Sarah's position is that people are basically, they're in their groups. So Lebanon has all these religious or whatever groups, right? And that they have to like vote for their person.
Yes.
Their person will help them get jobs, help them get electricity or services. She argues that people don't have a choice when it comes to voting. The other guy says, no, this is all, he says they do have a choice, basically. He said if they would have voted for different people, we wouldn't have been here. Do you think that people can vote outside their groups or?
No, because all the groups they is the same guys every time, and or their children.
So I didn't really realize this at first. Eventually I came to realize that if you drive through Beirut, you kind of drive through neighborhoods. So like if I was like a Sunni or something, I would probably live in a certain neighborhood, and all the other people there would be Sunnis, and we would all vote for the same person. We would all be maybe friends, and we would like marry. Like
Yes.
this is how it works. Yes.
Yes, sure.
And so then all my people in my neighborhood, we would all vote. We would all have this guy or this politician that would represent us. Yes.
Yes, and he will do nothing for you after the election. They pay money for people in the election times. So after the election, you will have nothing.
So that's why you guys are trying to figure out how to go out.
Yes, sure.
Because honestly, when I was there, I really, really loved Lebanon.
Everyone loved Lebanon, man. Even in this hard times for Lebanon, everyone loved Lebanon because you will find everything maybe goes on your mind in Lebanon, and the people, the good people of Lebanon, they love to live. They knew how to live the life. They're happy people, but now no, they are like miserable people now. Can't live their life because no money.
All right, let's finish this real quick.
Mafias and militia who embezzle the people, who explode their houses, who shoot them down if they dare demonstrate peacefully, and assault them if they dare take to the streets to ask for the most basic human rights. A damning ruling class that deigns to bring out sectarian instincts because this is all they know. It's a can of carcinogenic worms who thrive and survive in sectarian divides that brandish sectarian slogans to justify their dismal existence. Yes, the population is afraid, but more so the population is hopeless today. Hopeless. And is getting more desperate by the hour.
Okay, well, thank you so much for those very powerful opening words.
So tell me, what do you guys want to do? I know that you've told me in the past that you don't have enough money to get passports for you and your wife and your two kids. You've gotten some help from the churches, and that you're thinking maybe of going to some other country, and that you may have to send your wife and kids back to Syria until you can bring them to Iraq or wherever you go. This is what you guys are talking about, right?
Yes, if I can't like have more money to take them with me to Erbil or to Turkey, this is the final option I have.
So give people like your plan, like your best plan, because I know that your wife hates this idea of living in a separate country from you because she loves you, and I know that she loves you very much. So what is the case for? I mean, what does it take? So 1,300 for the passports, and then how much for plane tickets? That's the only way. You can't go by boat.
Not by boats, by airplane.
By airplane, okay. So
Yeah.
how much for the airplane to say, what do you fly to? Erbil or Baghdad?
Maybe Erbil, yes.
Okay, so in the Kurdistan region, northern Iraq.
I think it's maybe $300 or $200 for the ticket each, and for a visa, you have to at start you have at the first to get a visa. It's $250
per person each.
Yes.
So it's 1,000 for 4. Okay, so you're at 3,500.
Yes, and when you arrive to Erbil, you have to pay maybe $800 for the resident. This is right. I don't know if you want to get your paper finished in Erbil when you arrive, you have to pay $800 or $600. They called in Arabic we said إقامة حرة. It's a free resident maybe.
Okay.
It's mean that you don't have as a sponsor. You can buy it by yourself, and you can work anywhere you want. It's not. I don't have the word in English for this.
It's okay. So $800 for everybody?
No, for one, just one. Every
So 800.
Maybe the kids maybe less than 800, but for adults it's $800.
So for you and your wife, that's an additional 1,600.
Yes.
Then you need maybe
I think it's a 200 or 300 for maybe the one kid.
All right, let's say 300. So times 2, that's $600. So I added all that up, $5,700 to get out of Lebanon, basically. Yes, and you have how much of that? Maybe $900 or something left, or something like this.
For what?
I mean, how much money do you have towards that? Do you have any money from the churches or from the anything? How much money do you have?
Yes, now I have like 900.
900. So you're short 40. What's that? $4,800. All right, guys. So that's the story. I mean, I don't know. That's a lot of money. We'll come up with any good ideas that we can. I wanted to basically have this interview with Mohammed so you guys could learn something about the Middle East. Really putting forward the idea of spending your years of standing for your marriage. Serving others. Obviously, these people hurting. We know a lot about suffering ourselves. If you guys have good ideas about how, I mean, Mohammed, do you have any ideas about how people could? You're not on Facebook. You can't, as a refugee, you can't own a credit card. You can't own a bank account. That eliminates you from PayPal, Patreon, Cash App.
Yes, sure.
Venmo. There's no digital. You can't even buy something online with a credit card. You live in a cash-based, cash for everything.
Yes.
So guys, I don't know what to say. If you have a good idea, maybe you've done something like this before, where there's a way that you could send in money without having to trust me with it. If you have that idea, we'll run with that. But otherwise, I mean, just leave me a specific note. PayPal, Patreon, those are the only ideas I have. And if you note it, earmark it for him, I will set that aside separate from any money that comes in for standing strong for marriages. Any last words, my friend? I know that my heart is with you guys. These guys are a wonderful family, and I'm always cheering for them. Can you do translation work? You said you could maybe do teaching English.
Yes, I can teach Arabic for foreigners.
Okay, so
yes.
So
we don't have any student here in Lebanon.
Yeah, no, I understand. There's certain methods people can use to do Arabic and video. You have an interest for video and photography, yes?
Yes, sure.
So there's maybe perhaps ways you could make more if you got people. You don't have a computer at this time, but under the right conditions, maybe you could do video or some kind of editing work.
Yes.
Or translating work, make more money than.
Maybe.
So you guys, those are the best ideas that we've been able to come up with. Hey, I want to say just thank you so much, man. My prayers are for you. Thank you for coming on, telling us about, giving us some insights to Lebanon, Syria, the plight of refugees. Any encouraging words you'd have for people facing divorce? I know you haven't faced divorce, but you've certainly been through a lot of hardships. Any words of encouragement for them?
Yeah, I need to say, keep fighting, man. Life don't stop on anything. Keep fighting. Keep do good things to other people. Maybe you will find another partner. The life didn't like stop on anyone or anything. Keep fighting. Keep do good to people, to everyone, and this good will be back to you someday for sure.
Bro, I love you, man. Say hi to your wife, of course, your kids. We'll stay in touch. I thank you so much for coming on the channel today.
Thank you, man. Thank you for everything, and thank you for everyone. We will watch this video, and I want prayers from all of you, man.
Amen. Amen. All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you, man.